Good morning students, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about introduction to computer language, classification of computer language and types of computer language. What is a computer language? A computer language basically the language that are used to write some instruction or code to execute or to do some task. A language of computer is an artificial language. Artificial language is a language created for specific purpose. When a language is created to give instructions or commands to a computer, it is called computer language. Binary language uses combination of zeros and ones to create instruction. Computer easily understand the instruction given in binary language. Once again saying computer language means computer language basically the language that are used to write some instruction or code to execute or to do some task. Classification of computer language. Computer language are classified into different types. First programming language 3 பிரிக்கிறாங்க. என்னென்ன low level language, middle level language and high level language. Computer programming language என்ன செய்றாங்க 3 types பிரிக்கிறாங்க. Low level language, middle language and high level language. Low level language ல ரெண்டா பிரிக்கிறாங்க. Had divided into two types. Machine language, assembly language. Machine language எதில் எழுதியிருப்பாங்கன்னா zeros and ones. Assembly language எதில் எழுதியிருப்பாங்க mnemonics code. என்ன code? Assembly language என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க mnemonics code. Next middle language C வச்சிருக்காங்க. C is intermediate between the low level language and high level language, so it is called a middle language. Some basic high level language எதில் எழுதியிருப்பாங்க written in English statement. For example, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, C, C++, C Hash, Prolog, Java, .NET, etc. Once again saying the computer programming language can be divided into three types. They are low level language, middle level language and high level language. Low level language is further divided into two types. There is machine language, assembly language. Machine language க்கு வந்து கம்ப்யூட்டருக்கு ஈஸியா தெரியும். அது எதில் எழுதியிருப்பாங்க zeros and 1. Assembly language எதில் எழுதியிருப்பாங்கன்னா mnemonics code. Mnemonics code will be discussed at later. C is called middle level language. Why it is called middle language? It is in between, intermediate between the low level language and high level language. So it is a C language is a middle language. High level language is written in ordinary English statement. Some example of high level languages are COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, C, C++, C Hash, Java, Prolog, .NET, etc. There are three types of computer language: machine language, assembly language and high level language. Machine language என்ன சொல்லியிருக்கேன் machine language என்ன சொல் machine language எது இருக்கு zeros and ones. assembly language எது இருக்கு mnemonics code mnemonics mnemonics code. high level language எது இருக்கு ordinary English statementல இருக்கும்னு சொன்னேன். We will discuss later in depth. A language is a medium of communication. Language is a medium to express views and feelings. Computer has its own language. To communicate with computer, we need instruction to be written in a language which can be understood by the computer. The process of writing the specific instruction in computer language is called programming. A language that computer can understand is called machine language. It can be written in zeros and ones. If one person knows Hindi, if another person knows English, how can he communicate with each other? Is it possible to communicate with each other? No. Why? He only knows Hindi, he knows only Hindi. We need an intermediate person who knows the language both Tamil, English and Hindi. That is called intermediator. See here, the intermediate is in between the English and Hindi. He knows English as well as Hindi. The computer is a machine that can understand only zeros and ones. It is known as machine language or binary language. The code 1 represents on state, the code 0 represents off state. The collection of these codes is called binary codes. The program written in machine language is called object program. The program written in mnemonic code is called source program. The process of creating a program is called programming. What is computer program? A program contains set of instructions that can be executed on a computer. Foreground program. The program that start on a click and the program that run on a desktop is called foreground program. Some example of high level language is basic, Fortran, COBOL, C++, Java. The first generation is known as machine language. It is the only language that computer understand. Instructions are given in the form of binary digits. Binary digits are zeros and ones, where 0 indicates off and 1 means on state. என்ன சொல்றாங்க, binary digits இருக்கும் zeros and ones. 1 represent on state and 0 represent off state. It occupies low memory. It occupies another low memory. It is very fast as it is executed directly by CPU. It need no translation. இதுக்கு டிரான்ஸ்லேஷன் வந்து தேவைப்படாது. ஏன் கேட்டால் கம்ப்யூட்டருக்கு இது மிஷின் லாங்குவேஜ்னால இதுக்கு யாரும் ஒரு டிரான்ஸ்லேட்டர் தேவையில்லை. பட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் அண்ட் லேர்னிங் மிஷின் லாங்குவேஜ் இஸ் டஃப் அண்ட் டைம் கன்சூமிங் ப்ராசஸ். ஸோ மிஷின் லாங்குவேஜ் இஸ் கன்சிடர் as a low level language. The first generation language 1GL சொல்லுவாங்க. First generation language started as 1GL. Once again, I am recalling the first generation. The first generation is denoted by 1GLS. It is also known as machine language. It is the only language the computer can understand. The instructions are given in the form of binary digits, zeros and 1. 0 indicate off state, 1 means on state. It occupies very low memory. It runs very fast. There is no need translations. It is also considered as a low level language. Second generation language 2GLS. Second generation language refers to assembly language. This language uses mnemonic code or symbols instead of zeros and 1. 0 போது 1 போது என்ன சொல்றாங்க, instead of symbols or mnemonic code யூஸ் பண்ணாங்க. mnemonic 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 code. For addition, add. Subக்கு என்ன சொல்றாங்க, subtractionக்கு sub. multக்கு MULT, multiplicationக்கு mult. divக்கு div. இது மாதிரி mnemonic keywords. This language uses mnemonic codes as symbol instead of 0 and 1. But in assembly language, it is directly written as add. Computer understand only machine language. So assembler converts the assembly language into machine language. Since programming in this time consuming this is considered as a low level language. ஏன்னா கம்ப்யூட்டருக்கு வந்து என்ன லாங்குவேஜ் மட்டும் தெரியும், மிஷின் லாங்குவேஜ் மட்டும்தான் தெரியும். அதனால என்ன, ஒரு டிரான்ஸ்லேட்டர் அசம்பிளர்னு வச்சுருப்பாங்க. அந்த அசம்பிளி லாங்குவேஜ் என்ன செய்யும், அசம்பிளி லாங்குவேஜ் இன்ட்டு மிஷின் லாங்குவேஜாக மாற்றி கொடுத்துரும். What is assembler? Assembler is one of the translator. It is used to translate assembly language into machine languages. Second generation இன்னொரு language என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணாங்க? Assembly language. First generation என்ன language யூஸ் பண்ணாங்க? Machine language. Advantages of second generation: it is easier to understand, படிக்கிறதுக்கு ஈஸியாக இருக்கும், easy to debugனா errors கரெக்ட் பண்ணலாம், it is memory efficient, it is easy to modify, requires less number of instructions. Some disadvantages of assembly languages: lower than machine language as its need translator, cannot be executed in small sized computer, cannot run on computer made by different manufacturer as machines are different, it is difficult to remember syntax. Third generation 3GLS. Third generation refers to high level language. A high level language is simple to learn, write and understand and is very similar to English language. நம்ம எப்படி இங்கிலீஷ் லாங்குவேஜ் படிக்கிறோமோ அதே மாதிரி தான் ஹை லெவல் லாங்குவேஜ் இருக்கும். High level language are closer to human language. They are easier to read and write. High level language use combination of English and mathematical symbol to write instruction. The program in high level language must be translated into machine languages. We use a compiler or interpreter for that. Some example of high level languages are COBOL, BASIC, Fortran, etc. Computer can understand machine language, so the third generation use what language? High level language. It is converted into assembler or compiler into machine languages. Some high level popular high languages are BASIC, C, C++, Java, etc. Fourth generation language 4GL is to reduce the programming time, effort and cost by offering different method of generating code automatically from a simpler framework. It is very high speed of execution. Some example of 4GL are data query language. Data query language என்ன example சொன்னா structured query language. என்ன language? Structured query language. SQL structured query language. Report generation kenna report builder, Oracle reports, etc. Rapid application development tools என்னென்ன இருக்குன்னு பாருங்க. Power builder, Oracle forms. Power Oracle forms. Fifth generation languages used in the field of artificial intelligence. It is designed to reduce the level of programming efforts. Here the users specify the required output they want, while the computer determines the sequence of instructions that will accomplish those results. The scientists are trying to develop the artificial intelligence in computer so they can think and take decisions themselves. Fifth generation என்ன யூஸ் பண்றாங்கன்னா artificial intelligence. Even today the C language is widely used. It was developed by Dennis Ritchie. Java is widely used because of its platform independence. It was developed by James Gosling. C++ was an object-oriented program and this was developed by Banger and Stropes. The Python was developed in the year 1991 by Guido van Rossum. Python is a interpreted language. What is interpreter and what is compiler? A compiler translates the whole program into machine language is called compiler. Interpreter means it translates the language line by line. Once again I am saying compiler na computer understand machine language only. Oh, it consists of zeros one. The compiler translate the complete program at once before passing it on to the CPU. Interpreter understand translate a program line by line, passing each line to the CPU for execution before the next line is interpreted. Some high-level languages are explained below. Fortran. Fortran stands for another formula translation. என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணாங்க? Formula translation. FORMULA. Formula translation. It was developed by IBM company in the year 1950. It is used for scientific and engineering related application. Once again saying Fortran stands for formula translation. It was developed by IBM company in the year 1950s. It is used for scientific and engineering application. Next, COBOL. COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language. Another Common, COMMON, Common Business, BUSINESS, Business Oriented Language. It was developed by Grace Hopper. It is used in business, finance and administration of government and companies. Next, BASIC. BASIC stands for Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. It was introduced in the year 1963 by John Kemeny and Thomas Kurtz. It is used by businessmen to develop their own custom application software. Pascal. PASCAL. This language was developed to help teaching and structured programming concept to college students. It was published in the year 1970 by Nicholas Wirth. C. C language is used in system software and developing portable application software. C was developed by Tenich Ricis during 1969 to 1973. C++, one of the most commonly used programming language. It used a variety of hardware and programming platform. It was developed by Badger and Strupp in 1979. Once again I recall everything that about high-level language. Fortran stands for formula translation. It was developed by IBM company in 1950. COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language. It was developed by Grace Hopper. It is mainly used for business and finance and administration of government. BASIC stands for Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. It was developed in the year 1963. John Kemeny and Thomas Kurtz. Pascal. This language was developed in teaching and structured programming concept to college students. It was published in 1970 by Nicholas Wirth. How many computer languages are there now? Late 1940, first electronic computer and low level language. In 1950s, first high level languages for computers. In 1969, about 120 high level languages, about 15 in widespread use. In 1977, about 80 high level language in active use. Today, more than 2000 high level languages are developed. All of us know the computer memory is measured in terms of byte. Bits means zeros are 1. 8 bits makes 1 byte. 1024 bytes makes 1 kilobyte. 1024 kilobytes makes 1 megabyte. 1024 megabytes makes 1 gigabyte. 1024 gigabytes make 1 terabyte.